Hi guys, Marley here and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will have our July garden tour. We will start our tour in the front of my garden, and you can see here two arched trellises made of cattle panel. Now let's go to the right side, and this arch trellis on this side has some cucumbers growing. These are all pickling cucumbers. We're a little bit late with cucumbers because the first batch of plants that I planted in here died. This is the second batch, and for some reasons only the pickling cucumbers survived. We have picked a couple of cucumbers. Now this one is really up high in the trellis, and I really want all of them to climb up so this will look so pretty. Next, we have the raised bed of strawberries. These strawberries produced a lot last spring, but in late spring we started having some extreme heat, and the heat wave was so bad that my strawberries just suffered. At one time I flooded this bed just to revive these plants, and sure enough, look at that, we have some new growth in this bed, and I just need to clean this up, remove the dead leaves, and this should be good to go. I cleared some more space on the front part of my garden, and then I added some plastic mulch. This plastic mulch is made of trash bags. They're just trash bags. That's temporary because I know it's not good to have them in here, but I just need some kind of weed control. I also have some boxes. If you can see that, that's what I'm doing today. I'm laying out cardboard boxes on the paths because I am installing a drip irrigation. So I want the drip irrigation to go on top of the mulch. I have one main line in here. This is a work in progress, but I'm hoping to finish this drip irrigation today because I'm tired of watering my garden for 2 to 3 hours every day. It's just not doable. I love planting flowers, like all kinds of flowers, and at this point I have so many marigolds, so many extra volunteer marigold. So next to this plastic mulch that I just installed, I planted a bunch of marigold and zinnias. Look at that. I know it's a little dry. I didn't water yesterday because I was working on the drip irrigation and we had another heat wave and I didn't feel good, but hopefully this will get done. Next raised bed, we have some peppers. I have a few kinds of peppers: bell peppers, keystone resistant, giant Marconi, sweet banana. I can't even remember the rest of them, but these peppers are growing beautifully. I lost 3 plants because a couple of days after I transplanted these pepper seedlings in the ground, we had a heat wave and I did not check the temperature, like I did not check the weather, and so I was not ready for it. 3 plants died. Learned my lesson to check the weather. Next in here we have ginger, more marigold. Now this is a new tomato that I'm growing, a cool type of an indigo tomato, I guess. I got this from eBay. It's called Adele's color changing tomatoes, and the original seeds, according to the seller, came from Ukraine over 5 years ago. And so I am excited to see what this plant's going to be producing, but based on the pictures that she showed me, it is very prolific. Going back to the peppers, look at that. We actually have a lot of fruits already. There's a banana pepper right here. I have been harvesting peppers, bell peppers, giant Marconi. Can't remember what's the name of this one, but it has a lot of peppers in it too. And they have just started, and it's only July. Look at that. These are the bells. There's a red bell here. I know there's a purple bell somewhere. And look at this, guys. Isn't that amazing? Last night I made some chicken fajitas. Used some of the peppers from this bed. This is really, really awesome. Let's go in here. There it is. And then this pepper. So I have to review my notes because in my garden plan, I put the names of the peppers. I just can't remember what they are. I don't have my plan with me, but here, look at that. They're actually producing a lot. Shasta daisy, still waiting for it to flower. Blue bachelor's button. And then the evening sunflower, still alive. I'm gonna plant more of this next year for sure. This is really awesome. I cut off the dead flowers, drop them in the ground. No more seeds because the birds come in here and they love eating the seeds of my sunflowers. These zinnias have been struggling because these zinnias were in the middle of the weeds, and I cleaned this up, put some plastic mulch around it. They're actually starting to grow some new buds, so that is a good sign that they're gonna survive. And then this ones in here, I have 4 eggplants in this row. This is part of the garden extension, and these plants are the little fingers eggplant. So they're purple. Okay, the bee is following me. This eggplant is purple. Look at that. But they're supposed to be small, smaller than the long purple that I have. And of all my eggplants, I probably have like 12 to 15 eggplants in my garden. These are the ones that are doing really great because some of them are suffering from pests. But for some reasons, I planted this on the outer part of the garden and they are looking amazing. Our next stop is another raised bed that has eggplants in it. The eggplants are not that great in here, but I just need to spray this with neem oil. There are so many little bugs eating up the leaves. The ones in here, I have 4 long purple eggplants. And then over here in the back, there are 5 black beauty eggplants. But I mixed this up. This is a mixed raised bed with eggplants. And then we have some strawberries, some extras coming from my original raised bed. And then there are a couple of plants, volunteer. There's one here, and here's one, and there's another one right here. And this are either pumpkins or cantaloupe, I'm not sure. And then this in here are the early Cascade tomatoes that I planted way back in, I think, late May or early June. Black beauty eggplant, it started forming some flowers. Okay, now we are in the second arch trellis, and look at this, guys. This is called a Chayote Squash. I have one growing on this side, and then I have another one growing on this side of the trellis. And this has grown really high. It's almost to the top of the trellis now. And I'm so excited for this because I had a hard time finding a seed Chayote Squash. Fortunately, a friend of mine messaged me and told me she has extra, and she gave me 3. And then here in this raised bed, I know broccoli eaten by the worms, and that's fine because I have been harvesting the worms from this broccoli and I've been giving them to my chickens. So that's broccoli, that's the cauliflower. It actually started growing the head now, and then some new leaves. This one as well, this is the white type of cauliflower. And then I let my lettuce bolt and go to seed, so hopefully we can get more lettuce from here. And then right here some more lettuce plants. This one is the Brussels sprouts. I just let them grow like that. More strawberries in this bed as well. So this is kind of mixed up. Have some kale, some new growth because my chickens love kale. I honestly am not a fan of eating kale, but my chickens love them. So I'm growing this for my chickens and for my friends who like eating it if they want to come here and get some. Look at all of this. Flowers, butter crunch, lettuce. Now it's too hot for lettuce right now, but in the fall we will have a lot of seeds. We'll be ready for that. We'll be eating lots of salads again. Opal basil, the purple basil. Let's take a look at this cool thing in here. Look at this. Now this side has some crimson red watermelon. And look at this. Ooh, this is a good size watermelon. I have this old shirt that I cut to hold on to the fruit. And then over here on the other side, this one is a lot thicker. This watermelon needs some fertilizing. There are like 3 or 4 on this side. And look at this one. Let's move on over this side. Woo! See that? Look at that. Yeah. Another old shirt right here that I'm using. And this one is cotton. It stretches. So it accommodates the growing size of the watermelon. It's already halfway through the arch trellis as well. So that's good. Next we have carrots. Yellow carrots, orange carrots. I have some red and I think purple carrots in here. I have pulled a couple of them. The first one was not ready. The second one was actually still good. So it is time to harvest these carrots and plant some more. And then over here, I have 4 Geranium kiss tomatoes. They're the small ones. Grows about up to 2 to 3 feet tall. Yeah, look at that. Look at all of these amazing fruits underneath this plant. That's awesome. And then here we have some green Malabar spinach, and I just realized that something has been eating my spinach. And then we have more ginger in this bed and a volunteer peanut plant. I'm sorry about the weeds, but this raised bed has my second batch of corn. I have planted some baby corn, so the baby corn plants are growing. And then we have some glass gem corn. I'm still waiting for the blue miniature popcorn, the pink popcorn, and the red strawberry popcorn to pop out of the ground. Oh, I think these are the pink ones. I know the big ones are glass gem. Next bed, we have the first batch of tomatoes that I planted on April 15th. I have been harvesting a lot from these plants in here, 7 plants in this raised bed. And look at that, they have grown so big. Currently no ripe big ones because I harvested the big ones last night. We do have some cherries that are ready, but there are so many cherry tomatoes in my garden. And I assigned my kids to harvest the tomatoes, especially the cherry tomatoes. I don't like harvesting them because it takes so much time to harvest the cherry tomatoes. I do like eating them, they're so yummy. Okay, here we have the purple bumblebee. These purple bumblebee tomatoes are really cool. Look at that. Now, if they get, like when they get more sun, they turn more purple. And I think this one here is the tomato. It's really like shiny. Look at that, so beautiful. Over here we have the sweet potatoes. 2 plots of sweet potatoes. I have been harvesting the young leaves for my soup and just to add to my sauteed vegetables. Oh, and then right here, almost forgot, I have a couple of ginger. This bed needs to be cleaned up. So many weeds. But my garden is so big It's so hard to just keep up with the weeds. And then this is one of the Moringa plants that I transplanted, overwintered Moringa. Next to it is a very beautiful pink zinnia plant. This is just one plant, guys. Can you believe that? That's really huge. And then Marigold, of course, my favorite. And then I made a video on the worst way to transplant okra that works. This is one of them. It lost the bottom leaves, but that's okay. It's growing now. And then here, let's remove this one. We don't need that leaf, okay? And then the red ones are actually good looking. Look at that. It didn't lose a lot of leaves, probably a couple of leaves lost. And then here's the other one right here. So all of the 4 okra plants that I transplanted in that video that I have shown you a couple of weeks ago are actually thriving. Next we have the summer squash, green zucchini, my scallop zucchini. It's so dry. It's probably because it didn't get enough water. Another summer squash, I don't know what it is. And then here, probably like a yellow crookneck. And then this one in here, all male flowers for that. But this is really cool. Look at this one, guys. Look at that, cool leaves, right? And then, ooh, look at that. This one is an 8-ball zucchini, if I'm not mistaken. Really awesome. That needs to be harvested. And then a couple more plants in here. Lemongrass. Look at this. Beautiful zinnia again. Another Malabar spinach right here. And look at this. Sweet corn. I think I planted this on the first week of June. Look at that. And I have a video on side dressing this. And that really worked. Look at this. They have grown really tall. They've grown so big. Look at all this tassel. And look at all the silk. Well, this plant here has 2 ears. Oh, look at this, guys. Look at that. Can you see that? Ladybugs. Cool ladybugs. There are also some Japanese beetles. We don't like Japanese beetles, but we love ladybugs. Let's go over to this side here so you can see more of my corn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I have 8 rows. So 8 times 10, that's 80 plants. Look at that. I got these seeds from Tractor Supply. It's like silver, I can't remember, but it's supposed to be sweet. That's why they're called sweet corn, right? But I have noticed that like in most of the plants, each plant has 2 ears. So last year, I did not do good with the corn, but this year, I'm super proud of this. I'm just hoping that the animals will not get these plants before harvesting, because I remember my second year of gardening, I had some beautiful sweet corn ready for harvest, and I said, well, I'm gonna be harvesting this in the morning. I came out here, the next morning, they were all gone. But yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on this corn right here behind me. Oh, I just saw this one. This is a yellow scallop squash. Next, we have some peas. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Aren't they pretty? There are 2 kinds of beans in each plot. So this plot, the front is different, the back is different. I know I have like Henderson Lima beans. Can't remember, like navy beans, painted pony, etc., etc., like over 10 kinds of beans. Some of them are for like snapping, some of them are like you're supposed to wait for them to dry and then you harvest the seeds or something like that. But I just wanted to plant more beans this year. The green beans are here. I just noticed that many of them are ready actually. I didn't see that. I've been busy working on my irrigation project and clearing the garden. I didn't see this, but we'll be harvesting some of this today. The more you harvest your green beans, the more they produce. So you have to keep on harvesting them. We have our okras in here. That's a green, this is the Clemson spineless, another Clemson spineless, and this is the red burgundy. I just saw that there's an okra that's ready for harvest. And then vining beans right here. This one is, I think, Christmas lima beans. I planted 10 seeds and I got 2 sprouted from the 10 seeds. That's crazy. Now this one right here is like an orange watermelon. I know there's a little watermelon fruit somewhere. I just can't see it because of the weeds. Right here we have the second batch of cucumbers. For some reason, the tender green cucumbers are not growing again. These are slicing cucumbers. Now this is the white kind, can't remember the name, but white cucumbers and then some green slicing cucumbers on here. Next, my grape plant is looking better now. This one was a bush and I didn't really have time to clean it up, but finally I was able to clean it and fertilize it and it's looking great. Next, this is my second batch of yard-long beans or string beans or snake beans, whatever you want to call it. These are the red ones and then I have the green yard-long beans in here. Now these little ones are a replacement for the ones that were eaten by some critters, because that first batch, they came in here, ate the first group. The next day they came eat the second group, so I ended up putting a netting over the rest of them and it worked. And then I have replaced this and then I put some little trash can on top of it, put a brick on top, so they'll be safe from the critters. When they're big enough, they will not bother them anymore. Now next one right here, look at that, guys. These are bitter melon plants. Now the good thing about this is really cool because these bitter melon plants are supposed to be white. It's my first time to grow them. I've harvested one, but it was a small one. It tastes good. Now, there's a fruit here. For some reasons it's green, so I don't know if that's gonna turn white or maybe I mixed that up and it's probably supposed to go to my other trellis for the green ones. Here we have that mystery plant that I showed you in my June garden tour. And now I really think that this is cantaloupe. Look at that. There's a little fruit and the bigger fruit I put it in a net. And then here we have the mung beans. They're big already. I have a video on how to direct sow the mung beans. And then here in the next bed we have the peanuts. Direct sown the same time as the mung beans. A little bit late, but it's okay. Next bed here, we have 3 Casper eggplants. Look at this, guys. It's also my first time to plant white eggplants because in the past I've only grown purple, but now I have the white eggplants. This one right here is the long purple, or no, early long purple. This one is not that bad. The other 2 are suffering, so I need to do something about it. I'm so excited to show you this. Look at that. This bed is my asparagus. I planted 10 and I have a video of when I planted this. I thought I only got 8, but a couple of days ago I came in here and I found 2 more sprouts that have just started growing. So this is really so exciting. Look at that. And I just love perennials in my garden. Next, we have a jalapeno pepper. This is an overwintered jalapeno pepper. I transplanted this in the ground 3 or 4 days ago. Like whenever we had that rain, I transplanted this. It's looking good. I've harvested some from this already because it started producing while it was in the pot. But yep, that's looking good in there. It needs to be mulched though. And then here we have the Moringa plants. Now, these old leaves have turned yellow. That is fine, but yeah, as you can see, the top is actually looking good. This is the tallest one that I have right here. You see that only the top leaves are left. Now, these yellow leaves, we can just remove this. Next, we have some oregano, sage, and thyme in this little suitcase planter. And then over here in the center of my garden, we have some blue bachelor's button. This is my herb bed. We have some purple basil, some black bachelor's button, rosemary, lots of dill. Look at that. I'll be collecting seeds from this dill. It's too hot for dill right now, but in the fall we can have some more, so I'm gonna need to start some more dill seeds, probably drop some here in the ground so they can just grow. We have some Italian basil, more blue bachelor's button, some slow bolt cilantro right here, opal basil, and then white bachelor's button on this side, and more dill. Lots of beautiful pink zinnia, one of my favorite flowers in the garden. They are thriving in here. And then we have more sunflowers. Look at this, guys. Can you see that? All these little bees. Buzz bees. And bitter melon right here. There's one that's ready on this side. I have like 6 green bitter melon in here. And then here's another one that's ready for harvest. They've already reached the top of the trellis. Look at that. That's pretty cool. And then there's another one right here. Green bitter melon. Over here, I planted my winter squash. These are butternut squash, and there are 6 plants on this side. They have started forming flowers yesterday. There were so many open male flowers, and then look at this. First female flower that I have seen on these plants. I have been watching for squash bugs here. In this row, I have my beefsteak tomatoes, 4th batch of tomatoes. My beefsteak tomatoes are a little bit late, but they have grown really fast. They love the heat. I know I need to weed this part of my garden, and I need to mulch around my tomatoes as well. But look at this next one, guys. 8 purple Bumblebee tomatoes. We've been harvesting from this. Next one, tomatoes. Look at that. And there is one plant that got mixed in here. That's not a tomato, that is Roma. My Roma tomatoes and my San Marzano tomatoes. These are San Marzano right here. They are not doing as good as before, but that's okay. It's a good thing. I planted a lot of other kinds. Moneymaker tomatoes, they're the round ones. They're good. And then Roma tomatoes. Whenever they turn yellow, I harvest them. Like this one right here. This is the Crimson Sprinter. They're really good for slicing. Look at that. It has started turning at the bottom. You can just go ahead and harvest this. Now this side in here, these are my single stem tomatoes. Look at that, guys. They're so loaded with tomatoes. These are San Marzano, just waiting for them to ripen. More San Marzano tomatoes right there. And then that's also San Marzano. So we have so many. I thought I have aromas. I think these are aromas in here. Could be wrong. And then these are Crimson Sprinter. These are really looking great. Look at that. Crimson Sprinter, single stem tomatoes. Look at how much fruits there are. This is third batch, so that's why they're not ripe yet. I have been harvesting from my first batch of tomatoes planted on April 15th, second batch of tomatoes planted on May 15th, and then these ones in here, they were planted like early June. If you love eating cherry tomatoes, this would be your most favorite row. Look at that. This one is very prolific. Like, I got the seeds from Walmart. I think it's from a company called Fairy Moores. And you need someone to harvest this for you if you have a big garden, because it's so prolific. Look at that, it's just loaded. Like, we harvest some in the morning and in the afternoon, and there's still a lot left for sure. I want to show you this cool project that I made, and I have a tutorial video in my roadside homestead channel. Look at this, guys. I created an arch using a couple of hula hoops. Yeah, I got a couple of hula hoops from the dollar store, but you're gonna need like a stick, or this one is an old trellis that we have. But then I grew some yard-long beans in here, my first batch of yard-long beans. Well, unfortunately, there's not enough room for them to grow because it's too short. It's like 4 feet tall. And so I added this hula hoop right here. And look at that. It's growing on top now. The other one here is also on the top of this trellis. And this looks really pretty. I have been harvesting from these yard-long beans as well. Look at that. So cool, right? And then here we have some Blueberries Tomatoes. They start off green like this, and then they transition into purple. The more sunlight the fruits get, the more purple it gets. Look at that. Now from purple, it turns into an orangey red color. Some of them are yellow depending on how much sun they get. Now they end up being a crimson red when they're ripe. Now we have some in here. Let's look at this one. See that? That's red. So we have some that have already turned red. In terms of the taste, this is actually good for snacking. Blueberries tomato, guys. Look at that. So that's the purple. It has turned into somewhat like dark purple, very close to black. Now the other end is red. Let's have a quick taste test. It's so sweet. I have to get some more. It's so sweet, guys. You should try this Blueberries tomatoes. So yummy and so pretty. If you enjoyed this video, click that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Almost forgot to show you my huge oregano bush.